Now, a massive political war has erupted over contractor's death in Karnataka, who's committed suicide and blamed this suicide on Minister K.S. Eshwarappa for it. The contractor has claimed that BJP Mantri Eshwarappa asked for a whopping 40% commission only to clear off his bills. The opposition is now up in arms. They've got enough ammunition to target Eshwarappa yet again, demanding for his resignation. BJP minister is, of course, defiant. He says very calm and confidently that he'll not resign, come what may. Meanwhile, BJP top brass is likely to take a decision on Eshwarappa. The question here is, will at all Eshwarappa be sacked or will he resign himself? Here's more on this.
Karnataka Minister Eshwarappa and controversy go hand in hand. The outspoken senior BJP leader is now in the eye of a storm after a contractor blamed him for his death. The contractor, Santosh Patil, was found dead in Udupi hotel and police say it was a suicide. An FIR has been registered against the minister and his two aides for abetment of suicide after Patil's family said he was the cause of Santosh's death.
ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಟ್ಟ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಆಗಿದಾವೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದಾವು. ಎರಡನೇದು ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಹೋಗಿತ್ತು ಏನೇನು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದಾನೋ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸು ಎಲ್ಲ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸು ಏನಿದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದೇ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಅವರು ಇಲಾಖೆಯವರು ಇನ್ನೂ ಮಟ್ಟ ಅವ್ರನ್ನು ಯಾರನ್ನೂ ಆರೋಪಿಗಳನ್ನ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಬಾಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಯ್ಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದೇನಂದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಫೈ.
Santosh Patil had in the past claimed that he was under pressure to pay a 40% commission to the minister to get bills cleared for a 4 crore contract. Eshwarappa, who is Rural Development and Panchayat Minister, had dismissed the charges and even filed a defamation case against Santosh Patil. So far, the BJP government has been backing Eshwarappa even as the opposition stepped up pressure.
First, they have to arrest him immediately, take up a case on corruption, which has been evident and they have given in the entire documentation, in the writing, in the complaint itself is there. Why you have not included that section of corruption in the FIR?
Specifically, categorically mentioned in the complaint given by the brother of deceased Santosh K. Patil. But police have not registered a case under section 13 of the Prevention of Corruption Act.
The Contractors Association has joined the demand for a probe against Eshwarappa. Pushed to the wall, Chief Minister Bommai might have to act against the former Karnataka Deputy CM.
FIR ಆಗಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿವರಗಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಈಶ್ವರಪ್ಪ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ 1 to 1 ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾಗ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಈಗ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ನಡೆದಂಥ ಘಟನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಇದು FIR ಆದಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ.
Until now, Eshwarappa has been defiant, publicly stating that there was no question of his resignation.
ऐसा लिख कर दिया था, वो डेथ नोट है. ये दोनों के बारे में वो स्पष्ट देने के लिए मैं उनको पूछ रहा हूँ. इस्तीफा पूछ रहा है, डेफिनेटली मैं इस्तीफा तो नहीं देगा.
The Eshwarappa controversy has cropped up with a year to go for elections in the state, giving the opposition a handle to attack the Bommai government, which has been battling rising communal tension of late. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, here's some breaking news coming in from Karnataka. Quite naturally, Eshwarappa now calling this false propaganda against him. These are stunning statements coming from Eshwarappa. Remember, this comes even as an FIR has been filed against Eshwarappa for abatement to suicide. In the suicide note, the contractor Santosh Patil has directly blamed Eshwarappa for harassment, for trying and seeking bribe only to clear off his bills. And that's why in that suicide note, he claims he's killed himself and blames this entirely on Eshwarappa. Eshwarappa now calling that suicide note itself as false propaganda against him. In fact, Eshwarappa has also said that he has informed Karnataka Chief Minister Bommai as well as the party president that there is no question of his resignation. Eshwarappa has been a man in controversy right the time he's jumped into the political fray. He's been a man that has been attached with several controversies in the past. There have been many times in the past that the opposition has been gunning for his resignation, but this time it appears that the spotlight is on Eshwarappa, and it seems like it's quite hard for him to justify this case where he's been directly blamed for suicide. The man Santosh Patil and his family, Santosh Patil in his suicide note and the family of Santosh Patil extensively saying they're not even going to touch the body of their beloved unless and until Eshwarappa is arrested. Eshwarappa calling this entirely false propaganda against him. Let me cut across to Nolan Pinto joining us for more on that. Nolan, this is, of course, a natural statement and a reaction coming from Eshwarappa saying that he's innocent, this is false propaganda, and that he's not going to resign. Eshwarappa, even in the past, we've heard him say similar statements with so much calm and confidence that I'm not going to resign. Let the opposition scream as much as they want to. I will not resign. This time, what's different is that an FIR has been filed against him. The opposition, in fact, has been gunning for his resignation or for him to be sacked and have been gherawing the Chief Minister's residence, Bombai's residence. We hear that the BJP High Command right now is mulling over sacking him. Many of the Bombay cabinet members are now trying to appeal to their Chief Minister, saying Eshwarappa is bringing embarrassment to the BJP in Karnataka. Now, it seems like all the odds are against him. What does the BJP plan to do? Have you heard from the BJP top brass?
Well, in fact, as of now, like you rightly stated, it is a big embarrassment, a huge embarrassment for the Bombay government over here, because for a very, very long time, the opposition has been gunning for Eshwarappa. Basically, they wanted him to resign for a number of issues, from the flag controversy and now this. Now, even during the assembly session, when the first letter came out that it was written to the Prime Minister, 40% commission was being asked by Eshwarappa. No action was as such taken. Eshwarappa then filed a defamation case against Santosh. In fact, Eshwarappa says, where is the need to ask for commission when no job order was actually given to Santosh, the deceased? So this is his argument as of now. And he also says that's a WhatsApp message. It cannot be taken as a death note. But now this is what happens with the opposition. Leader of the opposition, former Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, who himself is a lawyer and has taught law, says that that particular WhatsApp message which mentions Eshwarappa is responsible for my death, it starts like that, can and will be taken as a death note in a court of law. This is what Siddaramaiah says. And Siddaramaiah, DK Shivkumar and Surjewala find fault with how the case is actually being taken. They believe and state,
you know, Nolan,
that
considering that Eshwarappa has been named in that last message coming from that man who's killed himself, ideally on moral grounds, Eshwarappa should step aside and must say that let the investigation go on. If I'm absolved of all the allegations and if I'm clear of that, I will resume my post. What has the BJP leadership said? What have you heard from Chief Minister Basuraj Bommai? We hear that many of the cabinet ministers of Bombay are now lobbying to push Eshwarappa out of the cabinet.
Well, Nabila, they have no other option. If they actually want to douse the flames as to what's happening over here, he needs to resign morally, or even if he does not do so, Basuraj Bommai, the Chief Minister, has to actually ask him to step down or sack him, because the Congress has decided to take this agitation forward till he is, one, sacked, and two, arrested. In fact, they say that Prevention of Corruption Act charges should be actually included in this particular case, because that is the basis or the foundation for this entire case. And that is why tomorrow they will be gherawing the Chief Minister's residence on Racecourse Road, and then various teams of the Congress, led by senior Congress leaders, will be going to different districts in Karnataka and the talukas to take this issue and bring it to the people. They say that they will not stop till he is dropped and arrested. So it is the onus now is on the Chief Minister, if he wants some sort of peace and tranquility in the state, that Eshwarappa has to step down and the law takes its own course.
All right, Nolan, I'm going to come back to you on this, but this is indeed massive embarrassment for the BJP unit in Karnataka, as a contractor has directly named KS Eshwarappa, their minister, for harassment and for bribery. And that's the reason he says he's committing suicide. Now, we're looking at charges that have been leveled against Eshwarappa by Santosh himself before he committed suicide, and also Santosh's family members. His family says that their beloved son committed suicide because of Eshwarappa, the mantri, because Eshwarappa allegedly demanded 40% cut to clear his bills off. In fact, they claim that Eshwarappa also further went on to threaten him. That's the message that Santosh Patil's brother said right to the media openly, saying that he got several threatening calls from many men associated to Eshwarappa, asking him to, in fact, withdraw his complaint. Remember, Santosh Patil was also the same man who sent out a written appeal to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, complaining about KS Eshwarappa, asking Prime Minister to take action against the BJP leader here in Karnataka. Now, on the other hand, you're looking at contrary claims by KS Eshwarappa. He says that he has absolutely no links to Santosh's suicide, claims that these are all baseless allegations. He also says that even before Santosh died by suicide, there was a defamation that Eshwarappa had filed against him for false allegations. Now, let me quickly cut across to many of those past controversies that we see Eshwarappa has been embroiled in. Remember, Eshwarappa has been looked at as a loose cannon. He's been making several controversial statements in the past as well. And we're looking at the opposition time and again gunning for Eshwarappa's resignation. And this time is no different. It appears that this time, all the more, the opposition has much ammunition to fight for him being sacked. Now, let me cut across to some of those comments that Eshwarappa has made in the past. Very recently, as recent as March 2022, Eshwarappa, in fact, said that one day all Christians and Muslims will join and become RSS. These are statements made by Eshwarappa, which hasn't gone down well with people at large. February 2022, when the entire hijab row broke out, Eshwarappa was the same man who said, saffron flag may one day replace the tricolour in the future. And this again was used by the opposition to gun for his resignation. August 2021, Eshwarappa in fact went on to encourage BJP workers to in fact hit and attack those who touched them. Almost an open call for violence that this Karnataka minister had made. August 2020, Eshwarappa was in fact speaking about temples and how temples should be developed across India. And speaking about the Ram temple, he said our next focus entirely should be liberating Kashi and Mathura. Now, further in November 2020, Eshwarappa said very openly that he will give tickets to anyone except a Muslim. These are really insinuating comments that Eshwarappa has made even in the past, which has always been used by the opposition to gun for his resignation. And this time it appears that Eshwarappa is certainly in the spotlight. An FIR has been registered against him and a few of his aides for abatement to suicide. Will the BJP top brass remove Eshwarappa from the cabinet? Will he have to step down until all the allegations are cleared against him? That remains to be seen. Let me quickly cut focus here to Tamil Nadu. Another conversion horror has been reported from the state of Tamil Nadu. This time, a 6th standard student has testified. She is studies in a government school in Kanyakumari and accuses in a video message her teacher, a tailoring teacher, of attempting to convert her. The student here claims that the teacher tried to promote Christianity in the classroom, asking them to read the Bible, allegedly labeling all Hindus as Satans. She also claims that the students were asked to kneel and pray. And a police complaint based on this girl's allegations has been filed. The student informed her parents. Local police visited the school where about 300 students from surrounding areas also study there. It's not a Christian missionary institution. It's a government school. And despite that, allegations coming in that one of the teachers forcefully tried to impose the Bible on the students. Now, this latest incident here comes after tragic suicide of Lavanya, a class 12 student from Tanjavur, who died by suicide in January after alleging that she was forced to convert by her hostel warden.
பைபிள்லாம் படிங்க என்ன நாங்க சொன்னோம் நாங்க ஹிந்துஸ் நாங்க பகவத்கீதை தான் படிப்போம் நாங்க சொன்னாங்க பகவத்கீதை கெட்டது பைபிள்ல நிறைய கருத்து அதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப நல்லது அதை படிக்கன்னு சொன்னாங்க சொல்லு அடுத்த கதை எல்லாம் சொன்னாங்க என்ன கதை சொல்லி இருந்தாங்கம்மா ஒரு கிறிஸ்டியனும் ஒரு சாத்தானும் அப்படினா ஹிந்து சாத்தான் சொல்றாங்க
All right, reactions coming in on this forced conversion case in Kanyakumari. We're looking at BJP Tamil Nadu chief Annamalai, who slammed the ruling DMK government over reports of a conversion bait at a school in Kanyakumari, questioning why teachers attempting to bring religion into classrooms. BJP has said that the state should not try to cover up this case like they did with the Lavanya suicide case. Annamalai has also demanded a free and transparent probe into this matter and saying that forced religious conversions is against sovereignty of India. Let's have a listen.
சுதந்திரத்துக்கு முன்பு மகாத்மா காந்தி அவர்கள் சொன்னது இந்தியாவுடைய மிகப்பெரிய அபாயம் என்னவென்றால் மதமாற்றம் என்று மகாத்மா காந்தியடிகள் அவர்கள் சொல்லியிருக்கின்றார்கள். ஒரு மதத்தை சார்ந்தவர்கள் இன்னொரு மதத்தை கட்டாயப்படுத்தி வலியுறுத்தி மதமாற்ற வேண்டும் என்று சொல்வது இந்திய இறையாண்மைக்கு எதிரானது. இதை மாநில அரசு மூடி மறைக்காமல், இதை மாநில அரசு இந்த தஞ்சாவூர் லாவண்யா கேஸில் நடந்தது போல மூடி மறைக்காமல் அவர்கள் உடனடியாக தலையிட்டு அங்கே இருக்கக்கூடிய ஆசிரியர்கள் எதற்காக தன்னுடைய மதத்தை, தான் சார்ந்த மதத்தை எதற்காக பள்ளி அறைக்கு கொண்டு வருகின்றார்கள் அப்படிங்கிற விசாரணையை பூசி மழுப்பாமல் மேம்போக்கா நடத்தாமல், எத்தனை ஒரு குழந்தை இழந்தாச்சு, இன்னொரு குழந்தை தைரியமாக போய் கம்ப்ளைண்ட் கொடுக்குற அளவுக்கு நிலைமை மோசமாக இருக்கிறது. அப்படி இருக்கும் பொழுது அரசு இன்னுமே தலையிடாமல் எத்தனை காலம் தான் பொய்யை சொல்லுவார்?
All right, let me quickly cut across to Pramod Madhav, who's been tracking those developments coming in from Kanyakumari. Pramod, the question being, is this a Christian missionary institution? This girl has willfully come out and expressed herself in front of the police, and she speaks very clearly, explicitly on how she was allegedly forced to read the Bible and how that teacher allegedly tried to diss the Hindu scripture in front of a whole classroom. What exactly is the truth behind this? Has the school administration spoken up? Has the school teacher justified his actions? What action has been taken against him?
Nabila, we've just got information from the Chief Education Officer for Kanyakumari District. His name is Pugareddy, and he has said that an action has been taken against the teacher, concerned teacher. She has been suspended based on the report given by Takkalai District Education Officer Emberumal. And what has happened is that not just this student, several other students have also come forward, and they have also said the same thing about this particular teacher, who is a suing teacher, which means she teaches tailoring to those kids over there. And just like the kids said from the government school, that she has gone over there and she was trying to change their mindset by saying that Hindu scriptures are teaching bad things and only Jesus is great and they should read Bible. The student and several other students have also come forward and said that the teacher was trying to tell them to pray, kneel down after lunch, and that has only become an issue. Based on all this report, the Chief Education Officer has recommended a suspension and an inquiry has been also initiated.
Right, Pramod, we saw a case that, went on about Lavanya's suicide where all fingers were pointed at the DMK government for trying and suppressing the conversion angle. We see similar allegations even in this case. How has the DMK government reacted to this?
Absolutely, Nabila. Annamalai, the state BJP president, has once again said that forced religious conversions rampant in the state, and not just that, it is only increasing in the past 6 months. These are his allegations, and he very clearly mentioned that calling this as an evidence, because earlier he used these words that already one student's life is lost. Now another student has come forward and she has filed a complaint. This shows the exact situation in the state. This is what Annamalai claims, and he also alleges that the state government is only trying to cover up this, and he has demanded a proper probe into this. However, DMK is yet to react on this issue, Nabila.
All right, let's hope a thorough investigation takes place, because there should be no room to any religious scriptures in the first place inside a government institution. And if this is true, it needs to be thoroughly investigated. For now, we hear that the teacher has been suspended. Pramod, thank you very much for joining us. Here's some big news coming in from West Bengal. BJP leader Suvendu Adhikari has been injured during a protest march in Birbhum, West Bengal. He's been injured, has been taken to a private hospital. Suvendu Adhikari allegedly was injured after a barricade was pushed on him. These are visuals that you see here on your screens. We're seeing massive protests that was carried out, led by Suvendu Adhikari. BJP and their workers protested vehemently. And right while the protests, it appears that someone tried to push a barricade on Suvendu Adhikari. And just when he was injured and rushed to a private hospital. These are, in fact, images of the protests that we get right from that protest site in Birbhum. protest that's currently underway. Suvendu Adhikari leading this protest march where huge numbers of BJP workers led by Suvendu Adhikari have been protesting against the Mamata government. Here we're looking at Suvendu Adhikari while he was standing during the protest. Someone allegedly tried to push a barricade over him. He's injured, been taken to a private hospital. This is the information that we get. Remember, Suvendu Adhikari is the BJP chief for West Bengal. He's been at the forefront protesting against the Mamata government time and again. The most recent being the rape of a 14-year-old girl in West Bengal, which unfortunately resulted in her murder. She died post the rape, a gang rape that was reported, which Mamata Banerjee very insensitively made comments such as whether this was a love affair or whether she was pregnant, etc. This obviously has not gone down well with the opposition. BJP now asking for justice and protesting extensively. These protests now have turned chaotic with Suvendu Adhikari, who was leading the protest, being injured in this protest. A barricade, we hear, has fallen on Suvendu Adhikari. This is the Kanun Tod Andolan. In fact, this again based on several allegations against the Mamata Banerjee government and her TMC leaders, saying that they've been constantly violating the law. They do not go as per the law. Any case that's been filed is never investigated, etc. And due to lawlessness, here's a Kanun Tod Andolan that Suvendu Adhikari was carrying out, and under his leadership, he led the protest, and this protest turned violent, and soon after we hear a barricade fell over him and he's been injured, rushed to a private hospital.